Hello everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. Today I'm sharing with you a cutout page that I created using the new release from Dina Wakley, using one of the new stencils called Connected Dots. And here's a little look at the pages that I created. So first of all, I am working in the craft journal, as you can see, and I'm using this Connected Dots stencil. I'm just stenciling through with black paint because what I'm going to do is cut out the black that comes through onto the page behind. At the bottom of the page I've added a strip of washi tape, and I did take off the extra sticky from that on my skirt before I put it onto the page because I wanted there to be a definite border to the page. So all I can say about this is it did take quite a long time. I've got myself a smaller cutting mat that fits easier behind the page. It's a Dilutions one, and it really is just about settling in and doing this really steady. It probably took me about half an hour, I would say, to do it. I just put on something to watch and listen to while I was doing it and just slowly worked my way through. So you notice that I do turn the book quite a lot. There are quite a lot of little movements in this cutout. I mean, obviously if you wanted to have a go, you could just cut out part of it. You could put a little bit on the edge of the page and cut that out. It doesn't have to go all the way across, but what I wanted to do was create like a peep through window to the page that was going to be behind. So yeah, little movements, turning the book and the page just to make it easier, so that it is easier to cut out. And I find that using this sort of scalpel style craft knife is easier. It's easier to be more precise. So once that was all cut out and I cleared away all the little bits and pieces, I then decided I was going to add some black gesso onto this page on the front and the back. The reason I did this was because I knew I was going to use bright colours behind. I was going to go for a rainbow vibe on the page behind, and I wanted to add the black here to make that really stand out on the background. I'm just using a makeup sponge to apply this gesso. The only reason I'm using black gesso, as you know, is because I have run out of black acrylic paint, and I do like the way the black gesso goes on, and it's the fact that it's quite matte when it dries as well is just an effect that I quite like. So I couldn't see any point in buying more black paint when I've got a huge jar of black gesso that I can use. So I did that first side, dried it really well, flipped it over, and then I am doing the second side. So you notice I've put a piece of paper underneath that's got coloured gel print. I actually think it's from a Brayed paint onto, and I'm just going stenciling through and kind of using the page as a stencil on that, so that will create an underpaper that I can then use in something else too. Okay, so then once that was finished and properly dry, I then matched up the stencil on the page underneath so that when the page was across and over the top of this one, you could only just see the colours behind. And then I'm just using the rainbow colours, ruby, tangerine, lemon, lime, turquoise and magenta. And I'm kind of blending where the colours match. I'm going over a little bit with the sponge just to blend those colours into each other. When I finished with one sponge, I am swapping them out and using clean ones. I'm just dropping them in my paint water and then they get all washed out and reused again later. Okay, so I'm just onto the magenta now. There is a colour combination that I really love, which is where the turquoise and the magenta meet because they make a beautiful lilac colour. This is the new collage tissue paper from Dina Wakley. I think it's called Painted Marks, and I'm just looking for some circles that I can use on this page. So I'm going to cut out some of the circles and then I'm going to put them into the circle spaces that are on this page, and some of the spaces, not all of them, just to add a little bit of interest onto this background. So I'm kind of going to space these circles around the edge of the page because I want there to be space in the middle for a focal image that's also going to be from this stamp set called Be Obsessed. So I'm sticking these in place with some gel medium, a little bit fiddly. They're moving around a lot. But you know, this collage tissue paper has so many possibilities of ways that you can use it, things you can do with it. It's so versatile. So I've got these larger circles, and then I'm just looking for some smaller ones that I can also add in. So I'm doing the same thing here, just cutting the circle shape and adding them onto the page. Still sort of keeping my groups in 3 areas. And you can see that I've left a space sort of in the middle of the page where the focal image is going to go. Okay, so this is the face stamp that comes from the new Be Obsessed stamp set. And so I'm using black archival ink, and I'm going to be stamping this onto some blank collage tissue paper. You can also get a pack of this collage tissue paper in the new release, and bulk pack, I think you get 50 sheets. So I'm cutting this out quite close to the image, and then I will use some gel medium to stick this in place as well. It's a very silly little brush that I'm using to use glue. This is just a bit of magenta paint I had left over that I've popped on her cheeks. And then I'm just using the Signo Uniball, the white one, just to add the whites of the eyes in. You can see it really does bring the face alive. And I'm adding some more mark making onto the page, just kind of echoing what's already there on that collage tissue paper. And it does kind of make those feel a bit more like they belong. So next I'm using a fine liner, and I'm just in scribbly marks, just outlining those circle spaces that are left behind from the stencil. I kind of just sometimes intuitively do things, don't always overthink it. If I feel something needs to happen, like, what's the worst that happens is a page doesn't quite work how you thought it might, and does it really matter? No, nothing bad is going to happen, is it? So give it a try. If you think, what will it look like? Well, try it and see. So I've done lots more mark making here. You notice I've put some blue lines on using a Posca pen, and then I'm just using a couple of things to make some white circles there. Then I'm using a set of words from the same stamp set, the Be Obsessed. No great thing is created suddenly. I've stamped those onto craft card, and I decided I was going to put these words on the front page, split them up and put them going down the page like that. Yeah, I do think that craft cardstock is one of my favourite mediums to work on at the minute. And then I am using the Signo Uniball in white to just do a bit of a scribbly border around that page, and again the same on this page too. And then just adding some sketchy circles on this page as well. And then I decided that I would add the words "have patience" into one of these circles. It's very important in all walks of life, isn't it? A little bit of patience can get us a long way. So it was just adding some words in that kind of resonated with what the page was about. And there we go, the finished page. So I think don't limit yourselves by thinking I can't do a cutout like that. I think it's the same with all sorts of things. The more you practice, the easier it gets, and give it a try. Why not? So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.